Dead to Rights Reckoning is a third-person shooter video game developed by Rebellion Developments and published by Namco. It was released exclusively for the PSP in 2005. This game is a prequel to Dead to Rights 2 and features similar gameplay. If you wanted something similar to the Max Payne series on the PSP, this title was your only option, and it was not a bad one at all. The plot is nothing special. You play as the Grand City police officer Jack Slate, and you have your canine companion Shadow, and you are on a mission to rescue the daughter of a Grand City senator who has been abducted by gangsters. The biggest strength of this title is the gameplay. You've got bullet time just like the Max Payne series, and then you have disarming moves, and then you can also call in your canine companion Shadow to take out enemies as well, which is super cool. The game has a lock-on feature in order to compensate for the lack of a second analog stick on the PSP. You press the right shoulder button in order to lock on to enemies and then press X to shoot, and most of the times this system works just fine. But sometimes instead of locking onto a desired enemy, you end up locking onto an unintended target or an object such as an explodable present in the environment, which is definitely a bit frustrating. It is not a game-breaking issue, but it is certainly an issue. But you can always hit the right shoulder button again in order to relock onto a new target. Then you've also got the ability to hip fire your weapons, which is really cool as it completely bypasses the targeting system. Both the camera and movement is handled by the single analog stick of the PSP, which is definitely a bit awkward. But the overall gameplay is so fast paced and filled with action that these issues they don't really impact it much at all. Bullet time works just like it does in the Max Payne series. You have to hold down on the triangle button and then push the analog stick in a direction in order to jump out and go into bullet time and take those cool shots while locking onto your targets. And yeah, there is a bullet time meter present as well, so you have to keep an eye on that. There is no proper cover mechanic present in this title, but you can crouch behind objects by hitting the left shoulder button in order to take cover from incoming fire. Pressing down and holding onto the triangle button takes you into the bullet time, but if you only hit the triangle button while pushing the analog stick in a direction, you're gonna jump into that direction. And yeah, it's pretty cool to get into good firing positions in order to take down your enemies that way as well. Then you can also fire your weapons while lying on the ground, and yeah, it looks super cool. And while locking onto a target, if you press the square button, your canine companion Shadow is gonna take down that enemy for you, which looks really cool. There is a cooldown meter available for Shadow, so you have to keep your eye on that as well and use him as tactically as possible. The movements and the gameplay is like really fast and really fun, and there is no shortage of baddies to take out. Level design is really simple, and there is a decent variety in the environments that you're going to be playing in. You'll have to clear all the enemies in an area before moving on to the next. And then the guns. This game has no shortage of weapons. Pistols, revolvers, shotguns, assault rifles, machine guns. All types of weapons are present, and the sound design for every single weapon is just fantastic. The campaign is kind of short, but it is meant to be replayed since you can unlock a lot of stuff that way. Stuff such as cheat codes like having infinite ammo or having all the weapons that the game has in your arsenal, and the big head mode etc. can be unlocked by replaying the title. Lots of weapons can actually be dual wielded, which is also a really cool feature, and I really like it. It looks pretty stylish. The weapon designs are really good, the weapons look and sound great, and the weapon variety is just amazing. Like I said earlier, you have all sorts of weapons and all of them look and sound great, and the weapon sounds are really distinct, which is something that I really love. And the background score is also really good, so yeah, overall great sound design. Graphically also this title is decent. It came out way back in 2005. It was an early PSP title, and taking that into consideration, it's a really clean title and it runs flawlessly. Thanks to the awkward controls and camera issues, this title is far from being the best third-person shooter on the PSP. But yeah, it is definitely a unique title that gave you Max Payne-like features on the go right in the palm of your hands. It is far from perfect, but it is the only title of its kind in the PSP's library. The kind of movement and fast-paced gameplay that is present in this title is not present in any other PSP shooter. And yeah, this title is like ridiculously tiny in size, so if you love PSP emulation or are into PSP games, definitely do check this one out, as it is totally worth your time. It is not a perfect game at all, but it is really fun and really enjoyable. And if you want to know about the best third-person shooters from the PSP's library, definitely check out the videos I made on Resistance, Retribution and the Third Birthday. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out.